Wait. Oh, hey, there we go. All right. Hey, Savage AF, y'all. You know what it is, man. I'm sorry. I think I warned you guys yesterday, and I'm gonna warn you all week. It's gonna be a Dro Solo edition all week long. Shang is in a place where I guess they just don't have, the infrastructure hasn't reached there yet. But that being said, man, Savage AF, forget your feelings. Facts matter. I'll be cursing in 3 minutes and just 3 minutes. That's it. It's your boy Black Pedro. Savage AF. We're the type of show that gives you politics, hot topics, current events, and I don't give a fluff kind of style. Like I said, I'll be cursing very soon. But I'm your boy Black Pedro. Typically to my virtual right, there's a dude named Shang right there, but he's not here today. He's out there on the road again. But thank you guys for being here with us. Savage AF, listen, we are here live for you. Typically 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday, on YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. Now, just like yesterday, I've had some Facebook issues. No matter what I'm doing, it's logging in. It's not allowing me to connect with our Facebook account. So, and when I say it, I mean the AI or the metaverse or whatever. But whatever, bro. Right now we're live on YouTube. And if you ever miss us live, that's your fault because we're here for you. But you can catch up with us on the YouTube channel. It's it's back. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'm looking at it too. It's crazy. But on our YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/C/SavageAF World. All one word. All our shows are archived there. And don't be a weirdo, man. Like when you get to the channel, all you got to do, just subscribe, get notified. Don't just be staring at the page like, oh, this is crazy. Yeah, man, just like get in there, bro. And when we get back on Facebook, make sure you are too. Savage A.F. Savage A.F. on the Facebook. Also make sure you like it, y'all. Make sure you like it. I see some people building the building with us. I'm gonna give you a shout out in a minute, but in the meantime, in between time, I will also let y'all know that there are way more things. There are many more things that are important than you or your family or your newborn child or your puppy, kitten, whatever. None of that is more important than your followers on what we call IG, the gram, Insta. IG is what I like to call it. The IG is what I like to call it. But on Instagram, IG, the IG, at Black Pedro, at Comedian Shang. On the Twin Cousin app, because they both go down at the same damn time,
at Black Pedro at Comedian Shane. Nothing changed. I made it seem like it was going to be something else, and it wasn't. And that's part of what makes me a piece of shit. Okay. Did I make the cut? Oh yeah, I made the curse line. Okay, cool. So Savage AF, fuck your feelings. Facts matter. I told you I'd be cursing soon, and we made it. We made it. It is Tuesday, October 10th, 2023 in the time space continuum. Today, I should give shout outs. I have to. I have to pay homage to those who have come to support. Brondum is unpredictable. Don't know what she gonna do today. Could be legal, could be not. Maya, Damani, Ev Gatlin, I see y'all. Thank y'all for being here for me. Yesterday by myself, and went back and forth with AJ Fit, and salute to you, sir. I know maybe he'll catch this online, maybe he'll come in later. We don't know. First of all, shout out to Shangadang, comedian Shang. Like I said, usually here with me, but this is a Dro solo edition of Savage AF. Fuck your feelings, facts matter. All right, we're in the time space continuum. In this part of that continuum, I do Treehead. She says 10 out of 10 on the Oculus 3 release. So you're just in Belize living in a virtual world now? Are you boxing in your living room? Please don't break your own TV or any bone in your body. Damani Jones said, "Seen Shang on Godfrey's podcast. It was funny. Yeah, man, those brothers always get down." And I think I've told on this show the indirect history I have with Godfrey in terms of my inspiration to do comedy while also being on mushrooms for the first time. And if, we can retell that story for days. We'll go back to it one time, never mind for your mind. Let me see. Tree has said October 10th. LOL. No, I need someone to buy me one. Well, that so you're out here shopping, huh? Listen, this is not a black market for y'all to be trading y'all sins for these little gadgets and things that you need. All right, Treehead, you done moved from the States. I don't know what's going on in Belize, but good, get. I love y'all though. All right, man. Here's the thing. Today, I'm gonna keep this pretty short, as short as I can. By myself. Black Pedro, Drove Solo Edition. A tit for a tat, man. I don't know if you know this parable or this story, and I don't even think I plugged it in. Let's see if it. Ooh, there we go. Bam. But a tit for a tat. Tit for tat. This was a parable, a fable. I think when it's with animals, it's a fable. I guess, yeah, actually. So a fable about a camel and a fox. Which now that I think about it, I'm like, do those two exist together in any place ever? I don't know. But I'm gonna read this, and this is all in relation to my perspective on the current war between Hamas and Israel. And I'm going to preface all of it with saying that Hamas is an extremist terrorist group. I do not argue against that, and there's no way that is not true. They are an extremist terrorist group. The parable, the lesson of a tit for a tat. I'm just gonna read this for you guys, and then I'll dip into the comment section for like 10 minutes, maybe. Sit with me for a minute. I'll do my best, but I really think that it's applicable. So, ride with me. It's just holla at your boy. Tip for a tat. The camel and the fox were very good friends and very good thieves. One day, the two friends decided to cross the river so that they could travel to a nearby farm to steal food. The small fox could not swim, so the camel said to his friend, "Climb up onto my back, and I will swim across the river." And so the fox climbed onto the camel's back, and the strong camel swam across the river to the other side. When they had crossed the river, the camel and the fox made their way to the farm. When they finally arrived at the farm, the fox caught herself a chicken while the camel dug up some lovely fresh vegetables. The greedy fox quickly gobbled down her chicken and then said to her friend the camel, "When I finish eating, I'm accustomed to singing." "Do not sing just yet," said the camel, as he was chewing on his dinner of vegetables. "I have not yet finished eating, and if you sing, then the farmer will hear you. Let me first finish my dinner, and then you can sing as we make our way back home." But the fox did not pay any attention to her friend and began to sing at the top of her voice. The farmer soon heard this singing and came running out of his house waving a large stick. "I will teach you to steal from me," exclaimed the angry farmer. Because the fox was so small and nimble, she was able to run away from the farmer. But the poor camel was very slow and still in the middle of eating his dinner, so he did not see the farmer until it was too late. The angry farmer set upon the camel with this large stick, and the poor camel received many blows to his legs and back before to his legs and back before he was finally able to escape. When the camel reached the river, his bones ached, and he was very upset with his friend the fox. "Why did you sing when you knew that the farmer would hear you and you could see that I was still eating my dinner?" asked the camel. "Because it is my custom," replied the fox in her matter of fact way. "Now let me climb upon your back so that we may return to our home across the river." The camel walked slowly down the riverbank into the water and began to swim across the other side with the fox upon his back. When the camel was halfway across the river, at the point where the water was at its deepest and the current was at its fastest, he stopped swimming and said to the fox, "When I've finished eating, I'm accustomed to taking a bath." "Do not take a bath," pleaded the fox. "I cannot swim. If you take a bath, I shall drown." "Very sorry," said the camel, "but I always take a bath after I have eaten. It is my custom." And with that, the camel lowered his back into the deep water until the fox lost her grip on his back and began to splash around helplessly against the fast current. "Help me!" cried the desperate fox. "I'm drowning, I'm drowning." The camel asked the fox, "Are you sorry that you were so selfish and caused me to be beaten by the farmer?" "Yes, yes, I'm truly sorry," cried the fox, just before her head disappeared once more beneath the surface of the water. The camel did not have the heart to watch his friend drown in the river, so he pulled the little fox out of the water and placed her upon his back. Then the camel swam the rest of the way across the river and climbed up the bank and onto the warm grass. The fox realized that she had been very selfish. Oh, and that's the way that ends. Sorry. So without drawing too many direct lines between any two groups, I think the for me, what I draw from this fable is a symbiotic relationship. The story starts off with this pairing, this fox and this camel, being basically successful thieves together. Bro, we were getting it in. Remember that it was all good just a week ago, right? But one time they have to cross a river and their skill sets vary. And, one side does not look out for the other, which causes the other side to then not look out for the other in a um, converse situation, right? Once the coin is flipped, you do me wrong, I'm gonna do you wrong. We keep doing each other right. We were good. We were good. It was all good just a week ago. Fox and a camel. I don't even know how the fuck do a fox and a camel end up together? Doing what? How? How do a fox and a camel end up just kicking it, robbing niggas for these Nissan trucks, nigga, right in the drive-through. Nigga, get your food, leave it in the car, nigga, get out, straight jacking. What up, Ice Cube? They started out as great thieves together. My mother's here. What up, mom? So these are friends, these are cousins. Either side, no matter how you want to look at the camel or the fox, Israeli Palestinian, y'all started off good together, man. What happened? Right? Somebody doesn't hold up their end of the bargain. The other side's not going to either. If either side, if both sides keep, trying to flex on the other and teach each other, it's never gonna work. You'll never get across the river together, right? And that's all it is for me. It's like this tit for tat. It's a culture. Both sides need to figure out something, but like a humbling has to occur, because what I see now is a bunch of Palestinians killed as a result of a bunch of Israelis being killed, and just killing each other's citizens over these ideologies isn't going to get anybody anywhere at all, like not neither side. And as I was listening to different sides, and listen, a voice I appreciate among all of them is a person like Eamon Moyhedin right now on MSNBC, because I think he has an educated, um, neutral. I don't know if it's quite neutral, but I would say balancing voice within this argument over this heated region. But him and as well as Mehdi Hassan, I think these gentlemen have, as far as I've heard, voices that are speaking, in a balanced way, or I preach about being able to kind of balance information, like get both sides, and just see you want information to collaborate and coalesce, and if it doesn't make sense between sources, then it's probably not true. What's my mother talking about? My mom says Netanyahu, the Israeli Trump, trying to avoid prison. I think one thing that you can't deny in the vein of what my mom just brought up is that there has been this space where Israel as a state has gone right, and I mean not morally necessarily. I just mean politically, like very conservative right wing agenda in the region and in their in terms of their homeland security as we call it here, but without inherent moral judgment. If I could remove my opinions from it, I would think that is a factual statement. It's just that, like, they've become a conservative state about immigration, and that's popping up now in a very real way. But it's yeah, they become this conservative state more and more over the years. And again, I'm removing my personal feelings from it as much as I can, and that's logistically, politically the way I would view it. So, um, yeah. That being said, my mother is claiming that Netanyahu is the Israeli Trump, trying to avoid jail. Um, yeah, I've been more focused on Trump and his jail time. I know that Netanyahu has been accused of some things, and I don't know if he has indictments or criminal cases against him at all. I don't, but what we do see is from as governments globally move right more and more right, those who are moving to the right, they are about a maintenance of power, like maintaining power. And globally seem to be willing to do whatever to achieve that. So, oh, see, I just caught it. My mother said Netanyahu has aligned himself with the extreme right in order to stay in power. And that's exactly what I just said. Like, and we're I was raised by my mama. So we're gonna sound the same a lot. But that's what I'm saying too, ma. Is yeah, this a maintenance of power, a yeah, an exertion of it, of whatever power you have is and this is primarily you know a reaction to World War II and the Holocaust. And as I framed it yesterday, for me, I see this through the lens of a black man in America who knows what oppression looks like. And I know that Jewish people globally and domestically know what oppression looks like. Um, so when I see Palestinians in that region, specifically Palestinians, I'm not looking at the Arab world versus Israel. It's like in this region, this is very specific conversation about this is a very specific conversation about the relationship between the Jewish state of Israel and a separate state of Palestine, and those two entities' ability to govern themselves. And I do not agree with Hamas's tactics. But as I said yesterday, I do recognize them as a byproduct of a frustration of a colonization, to be honest, of lands that were occupied. And when you occupy these lands in this way and continue these practices for decades in this way, there will be a negative backlash. It just will happen. Um, so, a two-state solution is something that I've always thought was what Oslo was about. The initial foundation of Israel. Um, and it hasn't played out for both states to exist equally and autonomously. And that's it. So a tip for tat will never work. Thank you guys for being here with me for today. Savage AF. Fuck your feelings. Facts matter. Dro Solo edition. I haven't seen anybody talking shit since my mother, so I'm gonna let y'all go for tonight. Again, Shang won't be here this week, so you kind of stuck with me. And as far as I know, I'll be here tomorrow for you guys. God willing, and the creek don't rise. I promise I'm not that country. It's just like something the Negroes say. I hate all y'all. Damani Jones, I appreciate you listening, man. I truly do. And if listen, if I said anything that sent anybody off tonight, please take the time. I gotta, I'll take a few more. White T Johnson, which is, it just can't be a real name. Thoughts on the Mideast. I'm pretty sure that's just what I was talking about the whole time. But to sum it up for you, I told the fable of a tit for a tat, in which a camel and a fox who previously had a symbiotic relationship ended up turning on each other, pretty much just to prove that they could. Thank you for jumping in, YG. We need 10 jumping jacks for being late. And thank you, Damani. I try to tell a good one, but just to catch Whitey up, because Whitey is always behind. No, but Whitey Johnson, there's a parable called a fable called the Tit for Tat, and it's about a camel and a fox, and they're trying to get across the river. And I think there's a similar story between like a scorpion and a gator or some shit like that, whatever. But like, it's like we're supposed to work together, and this is my Middle East fable, but like we're supposed to work together, but we're fucking each other over, unnecessarily. And it was all good just a week ago. So for me, that was the fable that I was using to equate to what's going on between Israel and Hamas right now. But as I stated yesterday, I think what we see from the extremist terrorist group Hamas, and I'm not saying they're some righteous organization, but what I am saying is that this type of action is a byproduct of a frustrating and I think a colonized situation in which Israel has taken over lands that people lived in, and a two-state solution has not been allowed to fruate to exist realistically, where an autonomous Israel and an autonomous Palestine are separate but equal governments and states. That has not occurred since the end of World War II and the creation of Israel. Like it hasn't. And to me, I stated this yesterday, that as a black man in America, I haven't seen that happen here yet either. Really, is like we like right black people like we're still waiting for the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights to apply to us fully. Like slavery is still legal in America, right? Thank you, Ava DuVernay. The the 13th Amendment still allows for slavery. So like that was my framework yesterday. It's like as a black man in America, I can see what Palestine's problems are. Hamas is not the solution, and their actions are not proper. They're not, that's not the way to do it. But I can see why I can see how a group like Hamas formed because from a Palestinian perspective, they have been terrorized by Israel from their perspective. And to all my Jewish people out there, I'm not abandoning anything. I'm just saying I'm able to see both sides. I'm a Gemini. I don't know what that means necessarily to this conversation, but I see, I can see both sides. Let's see what White T says before I get out of here. A couple years back, I saw videos on IG with a Middle Eastern woman saying that Israel is attacking innocent people. And, uh, minus one video of one woman saying whatever, the point of this conversation that I've had with nobody but myself and some of you guys here is that there have been actions on both sides, militarized, that have affected innocent people on both sides. The Israeli state is in the position of power with regards to their relationship to Palestinians and their designated lands or disputed lands or however it's looked at. But they are the power in state, and they are the state in power. And they are an American ally, so criticizing their state sanctioned tactics in that region and not read I don't even but just like between them and Palestine, it's sensitive. It is sensitive stuff. But like I framed yesterday and will continue moving forward is as a black man in America, I think I know what oppression between the state and a people looks like. And it doesn't look like Palestine has had a fair chance as a state. And I guess we'll argue that or we won't. But my mother says they are America's police in the Middle East. They're a staunch ally, and all of that developed at a time in which the Muslim world was, and still for a lot of in a lot of ways is a considered an adversary of the Western world and the American way. So yes, Israel, like I said, was a staunch ally for us in that region, fully embedded, completely supported by us, kind of established by Britain, but I've always felt like it was truly buttressed by the United States, in my humble opinion. But yeah, it's like I said, as a black man in America, I see what I see, and it looks like it looks to me. And both sides deserve equal autonomous states that they can live in peacefully, and in relation to each other. But that has not happened. That has not happened. Treehead says can't do much when you have apartheid on your head. And it's funny, Treehead, that you bring up the actual word apartheid, because it is an aspect that really catches on to me, because I don't really want to draw direct correlations between like Hamas and Nelson Mandela, but I do recognize, and I'm not sure how important it is for the world to, but we do need to recognize that Nelson Mandela was considered a terrorist by the state that he lived under. By the South African apartheid state, Nelson Mandela was considered a terrorist, and they committed acts of violence in protest to apartheid. And again, in no way am I saying that Hamas and Nelson Mandela are equivalent. But what I am saying is that the label of terrorism does depend on the labeler and the labelee and the issue that we're fighting over. But to your point, Treehead, you can do much. Nelson Mandela did much. She said you can't do much when you have apartheid on your head. Nelson Mandela did much. He did as much as one could do with apartheid on your head. He did more than most. So you can, but when you act in those ways, depending on the state, depending on the actions, it can be labeled in certain ways. Again, I do not condone Hamas taking over 100 hostages and killing, close to 1,000 people or so, or around that. But as far as I can tell, tit for tat, Israel has done the same in retaliation specifically to this event. And historically, you can probably go tit for tat between the two sides. And I don't see anybody winning argumentatively. So it might be time to consider different ways. Let me see. Yeah, Treehead, to clarify, she says, I mean, you only have so many options and none of them are nice. And that's when you can't do much when apartheid is on your head. Absolutely. And I think just to add to that, or lily pad off of that, Treehead, would be to say that my point was, depending on which side of the coin you're on, or the side of the politics, um, there's you're either good or bad, but both sides will have an argument for either. um, and the idea that Nelson Mandela was a terrorist is both a real thing and not, right? Like in the way that we think about terrorists now, you wouldn't put Nelson Mandela on that list, but the reality, he was. And it was righteous. Like he was right. Like he did the right thing. Even the violent things, they were right. It was apartheid, dog. Like you should shit on that, bomb that, shoot at it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, kill apartheid. Definitely shoot apartheid in the fucking head in front of junior apartheid kid. Like, let the kid see it. Kill it, like strength, like choke up and look at apartheid's wife and be like, bitch. And if you ever try to re-apartheid, you know what I'm saying? This probably went farther than I thought it was gonna go today. So, but yeah, Nelson Mandela under an apartheid government was considered a terrorist. And so was Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and Mahatma Gandhi. All of these guys were terrorists, given the perspective of the state that they lived under. And while Hamas is obviously a terrorist organization, and I don't agree with their tactics that they use to achieve their goals, I do not. I don't. I understand that other tactics could also be read to be terrorist as well, and may or may not be righteous. That's for history to decide, guys. What history tells me is that this fucking show is over. Let me see. I'll leave it with this. Treehead, she said, it's an unfortunate situation for both sides. Many innocent lives lost. Tit for tat, mama. That's all I was talking about today. Is that if they keep going back and forth like this, nobody will ever win. Everybody has to drop everything and rethink the way they're doing this. And America's heading for the same shit. We're on some tit for tat. It doesn't work, but it happens. So, guys, listen. I'm out of here for today. This is Drill Solo Edition. Fuck your feelings, facts matter. Yanni K is here. I see you, bro. Hey, man, we're going to get out of here for today. Hope to see all y'all tomorrow. I'll be back. This is going to be a Drill Solo week. Shang will be back next week. But until then, man, stay black if you are. Yanni K said, I'm an Israeli. I'm saying bravo on the info. Hey, man, a lot of what I gave is opinion on based on some facts that I understand. But we all seem to understand facts in different ways nowadays. So, but Yanni, as a citizen of the earth, I hope that your family is and stays safe. If you have a lot of family still in Israel, and that you are safe as well. But yeah, I appreciate you chiming in at all. And to all the families out there on both sides, right? Like these are political, governmental, ideological, religious issues that are being played out on a grand scale, but are on a macro scale that are affecting micro lives. So I really, really, truly, truly hope that all the people on the ground level, outside of the military and all the bullshit, can stay as safe as possible. And that still goes out to the people of Ukraine as well, and the citizens of Russia, who, for the most part, are not responsible for Putin's behavior at all. So, and globally, I hope we are able to stay safe here in America as we push towards the brink of, political and social disaster ourselves. But that being said, yay! Happy Tuesday. Stay black if you are black. That's the realest thing you can do. Do not be black if you are not black. That's the weirdest thing you can do. Keep your finger out your nose. I ain't even had a video ready, so now you got to look at me for a while until I do this. Yeah.